how's it going, guys? And I'm here with my Smackdown review. So, as you notice, I'm staying true to my word. I did not review Raw. But I figured, you know what? If I do happen to see some of Raw and watch the clips on YouTube, I'm going to share my thoughts right here at the beginning of the Smackdown review. So, that's what we're going to be doing right here. So, the big thing that happened on this show, not a lot of other stuff happened at all, but Triple H and Randy Orton. So, Drew McIntyre ended up getting the coronavirus, and he's still going to be wrestling Goldberg, but he's probably going to be off TV until it's time for him to wrestle at the Rumble. So, they had to bring in Triple H because the match was supposed to be, Drew and Randy for the night. So they bring in Triple H, and one thing that I gotta say about this right off the bat is why is Triple H bald? I don't really get this. You could say he might be losing his hair a little bit, but he started shaving it almost completely down when he had a crew cut, and it was covering his whole entire scalp. I never understood this. It's like he started to get less and less hair. Why is he going with the bald look? And also the thing is, he has all the indentations in his forehead from blading so many times. It's like, I don't want to say it's a horrible look. He don't look bad, but I don't know. I think he would look so much better if he just kept a little bit of hair. I mean, why is he shaving his whole entire scalp completely bald? I never got that. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. But anyway, they bring Triple H out for the announcement. Randy Orton interrupts him. And they get in this whole conversation. And basically what it's about to summarize, because it really kind of felt very disjointed and where are they going with this? And I get it's on the fly, but it really shows that, they have no plans. Drew was announced having COVID days before this. So I don't understand why all of a sudden, we got to jump into emergency mode and we still don't even have a good, coherent promo. And that's always how it is. Whenever they got to give an explanation for something happening, it's always got to be this huge, massive explanation. I kind of think of Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia when he made that whole conspiracy wall about where the mail comes from. It's kind of like that. It shouldn't be that complicated, but it always is, and it consistently always is. So that's exactly what we got here once again. Triple H is proud of him for lighting the Fiend on fire. Now, I understand that Triple H has done some horrible things. He simulated necrophilia. He's done, a ton of other, heinous acts. He's beaten people up with sledgehammers. But there's something about lighting someone on fire that's just, takes it to another level. You know what I mean? And Triple H is happy with that, but he's also disappointed that he didn't light Alexa Bliss on fire. He's disappointed that he didn't light a woman on fire. Wow, this is the guy who's running the company. And I know that they made Vince McMahon seem sick and sadistic at times to drive the point home that, a crazy villain was running the company. But, he never talked about, setting people on fire and being happy that the wrestlers did that. Vince would at least react and emote. Triple H is just angry through the whole thing, and there's just, there's not a lot of theatrics. Triple H was just kind of very one note through this. He tells Randy that he's disappointed in him because he picked on the legends, because he picked on Mark Henry and he picked on Ric Flair. So he's mad that he picked on some legends, that he cut a few promos on them. And he's happy that he set someone on fire, and he's disappointed that he didn't set Alexa Bliss on fire. So it's kind of like he's disappointed in him for both things, but he's still happy he set the Fiend on. Huh? Like, what? Like, this is what they always do. They, like, try to formulate something, but the promos always go off the rails here. And we're talking about, like, a pretty good promo guy here with Triple H, and so is Randy Orton. And I'm not going to say that this was terrible, but, like, what was the point, really? They didn't really, like, get to a point here. So they end up having a fight later on the show. Triple H is like wearing a t-shirt. He's not looking as good. You could kind of tell, like, he's not small, but you could just tell with him and his t-shirt, he's not as he doesn't have the greatest physique anymore. He might be getting a little bit Jericho-ish, and I mean, the guy is busy and everything like that, but let's remember that Vince McMahon was still jacked as shit, even in his 60s. Remember the Hell in the Cell match? Still, Vince McMahon looked better than Triple H did here. I'm just saying, so there was a reason for that. I get that it's a street fight and everything, but anyway, but Orton, is fighting Triple H in the ring. Then all of a sudden, things start to go out. And it's kind of funny because when the first little Fiend glitch happens, you don't even hear the announcers and react to it. They don't even care. And then all of a sudden, the lights go out. Alexa Bliss pops up. They stare at each other. Then she launches a fireball at him. And then Randy Orton. The thing is, though, with this, so Randy takes the fireball, but that's not the thing right here. The editing here, every time you a wrestler do a fireball, it happened in front of a live crowd, and somehow it looked better. Here with the theatrics, it looked very fucking fake. I mean, this looked simulated as hell, and you could see the cuts in this. It was very sloppily done. When you could see the cuts, you could see that you had some quick cuts in there. So when Bliss launched the fireball, it didn't look good. You kind of got this weird, almost perspective POV type of shot, and then it launched at Randy, and it just, I don't know, you could give it credit for looking unique, but I wasn't a big fan of how this ended up looking in the final product. I got this really very, very cheesy vibe off of it. And that's not something that you want, because obviously this was not meant to be cheesy. It was not meant to be hokey. They wanted it to be a shocking moment. Now, there's been many fireballs thrown. I think one of the best ones, in my opinion, was the one when you had Triple H kind of come out. And he had that... sort of almost like a flamethrower, I believe it was, when he dressed up as Goldust back in the Attitude Era, and he launched it was to get Kane back for launching a fireball at China, which that also looked pretty good too. Remember that one where it launched out of his glove? He had a little launcher in there. Here it did not look good. This did not look like those good Attitude Era fireballs. And, that's not just nostalgia thinking. Doesn't anyone notice that every single time they've done something in the past, it's always 10 times better than when they do it? And you would think in 2021, where they've invented more things and there's probably more ways and people have had more time to think of things. And they'd also, like I said, they have a whole network to reference. They have a whole network. How did they make that look good back in the day? How did they make that look better? But somehow, some way, it ends up looking worse. I don't know, but there you go. So, what can I tell you? I liked the Fiend getting lit on fire. I thought it was a shocking moment. But as I said, once you get to that crescendo, they're not going to go any further. It's always a downward spiral from that point. And every single time they reach that high point, it always happens once or twice a year. And there you go. Look what's happened. So anyway, let's get into SmackDown. We start off with Roman Reigns. I kind of like this with, Heyman kind of handing the contract to Reigns. Reigns is not happy with the contract. And I like how Reigns didn't really have to say a whole lot. Heyman kind of like understood that Reigns was pissed off and all that. And, the audio, once again, we're kicking off the show and the audio is bad. Really bad. And we're going to talk a little bit more about this, especially during these Reigns segments. So we'll get to that in a moment. But, okay, this was okay. I like how the first shot is Roman Reigns. The first shot is Roman Reigns. So I think that was a good presentation. This was pretty good way to open it up. You've got your main star. It was really nice opening something then within the ring with the in-the-ring promo. Someone's music is always hitting first. It was nice to just go into the back. I know we've gotten that setting before, but it was nice. And also it wasn't in front of the SmackDown video screen. You didn't have a bright and cheery, interviewer back there, to ruin things. So I thought that was a nice change of pace. So yeah, that was actually a positive. I was kind of thinking about this. I was like, yeah, this is not bad really. And I kind of like that. Heyman was kind of nervous to satisfy Reigns and everything. And, the thing is about this, what I kind of don't like is you're getting this really weird thing where it's almost like Heyman is in love with Reigns. I really think that's the problem. I have ranted on Heyman time and time again. Now, I was a fan of Heyman. When he did the commentating job on Raw in 2001, he was great. When he was the GM of SmackDown, he was great. When he was the heel GM of ECW, he was great. But, since he came back in the PG era, if you want to call it that, Heyman's just been terrible. He's just been a cornball. He's been a goof. He's just been fawning. Let's compare something here for a minute. Remember when Heyman was the manager for Lesnar and the Big Show and Kurt Angle and all that? Remember that he wasn't goofy. He always was a little goofy, but he never was too over the top. Now he's just completely jumped the shark, and now he's having a love affair, and he needs to please Reigns. I don't know. I find that just a little bit too weird. And Heyman, I know, has a lot of control of his own character. I would just say, we've reached a point of no return now. He's not going to tone it down. I just wish that he would. So anyway, we go to the ring. We got Jey Uso cutting a promo. This is the guy, he's talking tough, but he loses every week. So what happens? Knocker Murphy comes out. He's got his old theme song. Oh, great, Anyway, everyone always talks about how great this theme song is. Guys, I have a huge, massive playlist of 200 songs, including production themes on my Spotify. Some are some local files that I have. That are, and they also have the Uncaged albums. So, I've compiled a lot, and I listen to that on shuffle. I gotta tell you something. Out of all those songs, neither one of Knocker Murphy's songs are on there. And I feel like I should kind of like that Japanese style. But I was listening to Taka Michinoku's theme and Kaientai's theme, Funaki's theme, and I'm like, these are way better themes than that. And it's I don't know, it's not like it's a bad melody or anything. I just don't really care for it. So I know it's the same thing with Bobby Roode's song Glorious. I just don't like it. I don't know why everyone praises these themes, but I don't know. A lot of the more recent themes, I like Baron Corbin's theme, but a lot of these themes, these are not my kind of themes. They just aren't. I like a lot of the CFO ones. I do. I like Dean Ambrose's theme. I like the Jack Swagger's theme. There's a lot of CFO themes I like. But Jim Johnston, when it came to those themes, those were the premier themes as far as I'm concerned. But, We're not here to talk about themes. It's just that was a big thing on the internet. People were making a big deal about, oh, he's got his old theme back. Okay, well, he's still a jabroni jobber. Okay, and they're trying to save face with Nakamurphy. They don't want the guy to go to AEW. That's obviously the thing here because, AEW would be the perfect moment for AEW fans to say, he's in AEW now. Now he can be treated like a true superstar. So, thank God that they're giving Nakamurphy this push because I don't want to give those smarks the satisfaction. As garbage as WWE is, and if you watch my reviews, you damn well know that you can believe that point of view coming from me. But I said it time and time again. AEW has the worst fans. It's probably one of the worst promotions I've ever seen. I mean, Tony Khan, this estrogen-filled goofball, come on. They're saying that this guy is the greatest boss of all time. He lets these wrestlers walk all over him. You've got them walking into Impact Wrestling and everything. At least Vince McMahon is like a businessman. He may be losing viewers, but man, I can't stand AEW. So if it keeps Nakamurphy, I'm not a big Nakamurphy fan. I don't really immensely dislike the guy. I'd like that they cooled him down a bit. Him winning the Royal Rumble and beating Randy Orton and John Cena. Remember that? Remember that from 2018? That was, whoa, ho, slow down there, fella. That was just insanity. And soon they cooled him off because they realized that the smarks got, tired of him. And here we don't even have an accurate reaction. How are the fans reacting to Nakamurphy getting pushed here in the gauntlet match? I don't think it's going to last, quite frankly. But, we don't have any fans here to tell us how they're really reacting to this, and we're also going to talk about reactions in a moment. So, we've got Jey Uso losing again. So he goes for the roll-up. He's got his feet on the ropes. Referee counts to 3, but then he waves it off because he caught his feet on the ropes. Nakamurphy comes in with the Shinyaska, whatever the hell it's called. He beats him. Now, this was the other thing that I had to mention about this match. What about that awkward transition there? Before the match even starts, Nakamura, they always got to get him to say something in English. And it's very obvious that he's not comfortable speaking this language. Now, I know a lot of people don't like when I talk about this. I noticed in the past they think it's kind of mean. But really, to have the guy, try to cut a promo in English when he's not comfortable doing it, what is the point? I don't get... It's not even a good line. Oh, you're the big dog. You're Roman's the big dog, and you're the puppy. Okay, is that so clever and so funny? Then he hits him with his finisher. He hits him with the Shinyaska in the face. Then they have the commercial. Then they come back and they have the match. When did you ever see this? A wrestler hitting his finisher, then they're going to have the match right after that? It was a really, really, awkward little transition that they had there, and it looked like complete shit. So, anyway, I guess, yeah, Nakamurphy, they're going to sacrifice Jey Uso. I don't get this. Jey Uso is main eventing against Roman Reigns. And I get that a lot of those matches was Roman Reigns dominating, but it made Jey look tough to hang with a guy the caliber of Roman. So they could have built off of that. But we're not going to do that. We're going to just job this guy out where Reigns is basically affiliated with a complete loser. And Jey Uso does not deserve that. I feel this is a pretty hardworking guy. I like Jey. I think those are some phenomenal matches he had last year. When I went back and I looked at them, I was blown away. They were good. They were some top quality matches that I think could have led somewhere. And I think that Roman has sort of found his groove, but they're just they don't have any material for him. So they are really just like firing off in the dark here. Whatever like sticks goes with it. Like, you know, like I said, it's an okay opening segment, but I feel like Reigns has the potential to just have some great stories. It's just that the writing is not there. These things just feel so minimal. And we're gonna get to this in a moment. We'll talk a little bit more about it. So we've got Heyman approaching Adam Pearce with a no disqualification, and somehow I don't know how, like, Pearce is the authority figure, but he's like found himself into this and he's accepting the stipulations, and you know, we would see where this would later go on. But the simple fact that like Pearce is the authority figure and he's there like, you know, rolling his eyes and like having Heyman push him around. And I get that, you know, was the overall plot at the end of the show where Fat Boy Kevin Owens would come back. You know, I get that that's what they were going for there, because if, you know, Adam Pearce was too gleeful in those, like, those decisions to make it a no disqualification match and later on the Falls Count Anywhere match, you know, Heyman would then get smart to him and he wouldn't be able to pull off that great surprise at the end. But, I mean, it just made Adam Pearce look like a wimp throughout this. He's getting bullied by Paul Heyman, of all people. It just is not a good look for the authority figure of the show. Okay, so then we got the Street Profits just cutting this promo that's just loud and obnoxious and just, holy shit, go away already. You know, this is the thing, during the pandemic, like, they've really done, I've noticed it's like they've really artificialized the Street Profits, and they're like making like these guys are like super popular. Never mind the fact that when they brought them out for the live crowd was only exposed to them for what, like 3 weeks. People also didn't really get the whole, you know, we got the smoke, you know, chant. They got one recorded, so I don't know how they got that. I don't remember when the crowd actually chanted that. They must have like recorded a little bit of it. Remember when they started saying that, you know, we got the smoke, and they went into the crowd? What was that like? That was like February or something. Remember, like right before, yeah, it was like February, very early March, before they had to shut everything down and go to the Performance Center. Remember that? Well, I don't know. The thing is, they're making like the Street Profits, like everyone finds them funny and everyone just loves them. So they're running with it. And I guarantee you, when they get the live crowd back, that's when you're going to see the Street Profits. Well, let's just say their profits are going to fall a bit and they're going to go bankrupt. Because they're under the impression that everyone during the pandemic is watching the Street Profits and loving the Street Profits. But I guarantee you, when they come back to the live crowd, that's not the reaction they're going to get. I'm just saying, I just think that it's going to go bust. The whole Street Profit project, these are just some really obnoxious, annoying fucking doofuses. I mean, really? And where are the dirty dogs, by the way? And just like all this cheap humor, he says ED, and then you have him saying, oh, this is PG, watch your language. And he goes, oh no, entertainment dysfunction. Get it? Because it's supposed to be erectile dysfunction. Instead he said entertainment dysfunction. Like, this material here, like, they go out there and they think because they're, like, being loud and, like, like, they feel like they're being charismatic. And, okay, I will give them some credit for effort there. They are trying, in a wrestling world that is devoid of characters, as I always say, they're trying to have a character. They're trying to have a personality. Just my opinion. This is not a fun, likable personality. This is obnoxious. If you ran into these people in real life, you wouldn't want to have anything to do with them. Trust me, these are party guys. If they were at a party, you wouldn't want them at your party in the first place. they're just like that. That's all I hear when these guys are on TV. That's all I'm getting from this. It's just a bunch of goofballish bullshit, and it needs to come to an end already. The fact that these guys are like going in 20-minute matches. One guy, not Montez. Montez is in good shape, even though he's still like, he's got like a really detailed physique, but his chest and waist are like aligned. It's like the weirdest build I've ever seen. I'm sorry. I mean, I can see that the guy he's cut up, he's detailed, but it's weird, and he just looks like a big noodle in there. Whoa, like I don't think I've compared him to him yet. I know I've mentioned his physique in the past, but he just has he has a noodle body, like not like noodle like skinny angel hair. We'll say he's like Panini or Ziti, something a little thicker, but like still just straight like that. And what's the other guy's name? He just like that guy's just a big chunky. That's all he is. He's like a big chunky. I don't get the appeal here. They go marching off, chanting, we got the smoke. Oh, you got something, all right. It's called being annoying, having a very annoying characteristic. I'm telling you, when they bring back the live crowd, I don't think the crowd's going to go for these guys. At least that's my opinion. Maybe everyone will just love the Street Profits and end up going on to being one of the most popular tag teams ever. Probably not. But I don't like them. Reigns is backstage with Apollo Crews, and this is interesting, right? Yeah, I mean, Apollo Crews, Roman Reigns, the main event of the world champion, is talking to a lowly mid-carder, Apollo Crews, who hasn't even been there for weeks. So what do you think's important in a segment like this, right? What do you think? I'm not going to say it. I'll eventually tell you, of course. But what would be probably the most important thing in a segment? What is key to a segment, especially when people are talking to one another? Well, there's dialogue going on. There's words being exchanged. Isn't there something that, is important about this that the viewer should be able to digest and easily consume? I mean, in movies, cartoons, video games, what is the most important thing when you're watching something to accompany it? Sound, maybe? Maybe it would be nice if we could, maybe hear them? Like, maybe understand what they're saying to one another? I mean, that would be nice for, like, maybe the first time. And look, guys, I don't know what's wrong with the audio, but this is just fucking horrendous. I mean, they got to get this fixed already. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the malfunction is. I don't know what the miscommunication is. I don't know. But all I know is that the audio is fucking piss poor. It's terrible. And the thing is, Roman Reigns, because he's a heel and he's supposed to be very methodical and always thinking and very psychological and all that and philosophical and everything, and he's speaking in this low voice. Okay, that's fine and well. You don't have to yell. That's not his character. Great. He's laid back. He thinks things through. But could we get a better mic on him? Could we turn up the audio a little bit? I mean, every single week this is apparent. Who is not watching this in the truck? This was never a problem. Remember, like, when there was a bad mic? They would scramble to, meanwhile the audio is bad, and you know what they do? As soon as these guys come on and they're in conversation, you want to hear what they're going to say? They pipe in those fake ass cheers. You've got to be kidding me. They're in the middle of a conversation. You're going backstage and they're showing this so you could see and hear the dialogue. I think you're supposed to hear the dialogue. I don't know why they wouldn't want you to. So why did they decide at that moment? They're piping in the worst, fakest, most artificial cheers I've ever heard. The cheers sound like shit. Stop it. There's no one there. You don't have anyone in the building. You have a bunch of goofballs streaming their their ugly faces in, and we're forced to hear this horrible crowd noise that obviously is not doing anything for the president. I'm sorry. I know some people want it, but from what I see, most people are not going for it. I'm sorry. I can't just sit back and say oh, well, it's nice to have crowd noise. No, they've tried everything. This stuff is not adding things. Streaming a bunch of people in on a video wall, I don't like it. I'm telling you, because first of all, watching all those people with the bad lighting and everything, and they're just some very unpleasant looking people. You put that together with those crowd noises, and you've got the bad audio, and then you've got a bad show on top of it too. Holy shit! I mean, at least we used to be, when they were in the arena, at least we were, with an actual live crowd. At least, we didn't have to worry about the audio being bad or the presentation being bad. Like, that was fine. We were just concerned about the content of the show. Now the content is bad, and the audio's bad, and the presentation too? Holy shit. I mean, you've just added a whole new problem on top of something that I don't get it. You have an empty arena. It should be so much easier to get the audio levels right. You don't have to compete with the crowd noise. But they've added in a new problem by piping in artificial crowd noise. And it was not a problem, actually, when they first came into the Performance Center. But, but then when they did the Thunderdome, and now they're in Thunderdome number 2, now we have a whole host of new problems. And I'm saying, I think it's so weird that they call it the Thunderdome, and thunder is loud, and instead this is it's low. This is the low dome. This is like the trickle dome. It's just like the droplet dome. It's like a droplet of water coming out of a faucet, hitting the sink. That's like what it sounds like. It's a pin dropping. It is so low. Turn it up. He's speaking low. There's a conversation on screen. Now we'll never know what these guys have said because you just ruined the segment by layering a bunch of shitty sounding crowd sound effects on it. Anyway, Reigns is talking to Heyman. Reigns tells Apollo to hold on. So he's giving him some advice or something. It's probably not even important anyway. I'm just saying. But Heyman comes back. He says it's a no DQ match. Reigns never said he wanted a no DQ match. He says go back to Pearce and make it at Falls Count Anywhere. So he's going to go find Pearce and everything. And, he showed Apollo Crews to, be tough. Okay, we obviously know that nothing is going to come of this. I just felt like ranting about the audio because it's really annoying. And it really deserves to be. We're talking about the show here as a whole. So we have to talk about one of the biggest things, the ability to fucking hear it. I think that's probably one of the most important parts of it. So then we have Natalya defeating Liv Morgan with a roll-up, of course, when Billie Kay comes running in. I thought this was funny, actually. I'm sick of roll-ups, but I did get a kick out of Billie Kay. I really like her character a lot. So I don't really have too many complaints about that. It wasn't spectacular or anything, but hell, it was better than the other stuff. At least I could hear it. At least I could hear it. Baron Corbin defeated Rey Mysterio. And, Dominic is I don't know. He's wearing these flashy shirts. And I liked when Enzo Amore did it. Because I thought that those, really fit his character and everything. And, Enzo had just the whole presentation going on. So even if I wasn't particularly wear that sort of outfit, it fit into Enzo's character. But having Dominic come out there and wearing, the coach shirt, I don't know, they're just having him dress like a total goof. He looks goofy. He sounds goofy. He sounds weak. And then he's, then he's like telling his father like about like backing down, and he's the one who's the wimp. I don't even get like what they're going for. They had them off TV. Where's Buddy Murphy? I don't know what is even going on here. Ray continuously is getting jobbed out. I get it. He wants to maybe do some business for some of the younger stars, but Corbin, where is this guy going? And plus, where are the Knights of the Lone Wolf? They just disappeared since last week and they haven't come back? I don't get it. I don't know, this thing with Dominic, I take a look at Dominic and I seriously have to say, I don't see a future here. That wimpy voice, the way he dresses, unless they completely retool this guy, send him to work on his whole self, this is just not going to work. Rey Mysterio is a legend. He deserves every single accolade that's ever been given to him or that will come his way. But his son, this is the thing, just because you're someone's son, it doesn't mean that you have it in you. It's just, sometimes it's just not there. Sometimes you just don't have it, and we've seen numerous examples of that. For example, David Flair, that was Ric Flair's son. You knew right the moment that you looked at David Flair that the guy really wasn't going places. So, and there wasn't really a whole lot of room to work with there because just David Flair was just very David Flairy. And that's kind of the thing here with Dominic. I'm not getting superstar from Dominic. We've got Adam Pearce backstage again, acting all wimpy with Heyman. He gets signed on for the last man standing match, and he ends up signing that one too. Just the whole idea of just Adam Pearce being this authority figure. Not only that, but also accompanied with the low talking, and we're also going to get later on when we talk about that last segment and just the audio overall on this show. I'm not done talking about the fucking audio. We're going to go on to the next segment. We've got Bayley and Bianca Belair and the Ding Dong Hello Show, which is, talk show number 103. That's not as good as Piper's Pit. It's not as good as Carlitos Cabana. It's not as good as the 13 million other talk shows they've done, but hell, why not? Bayley is over there looking like Harry Potter with the glasses and the hair and just the awful outfit. Just, oh my God. What are they doing here, on this show? What are they doing with Bayley? Why do they insist that this girl can act, that she could cut a promo, that she's a good heel? She's absolutely terrible. And so is Bianca Belair. I don't know. Bianca Belair gets a lot of praise. And I'm not saying that when I look at Bianca Belair that she's at least, she looks more like a star than Bayley does. I will say that. But when she opens her mouth, again, it's not even just the writing. It's just, I just see just completely just clueless on anything about presenting yourself out there. This was some cringy stuff. Extremely cringy. This, especially, playing the, what happened last week on the Titantron, playing that back, and where were they even going with this, to be quite honest? What was even the point? They did a new talk show, and they did their absolute best to make it the absolute worst. This is how you introduce the new show. And that, I guess we're supposed to care about. We're supposed to care about Bayley. Honestly, who cares about anyone on this show, the way how they're presented? Everyone is presented just as a goofball, as an amateur. Cesaro defeated Daniel Bryan. I don't know here. We've got Cesaro now all of a sudden a big star out of nowhere. Corey Graves is putting over the fact that this guy right here, yeah, Cesaro, he won the first ever Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. Okay? There's only one problem with that. That was 7 years ago almost. What is it going to be? In April? In 3 months, we're going to be talking about 7 years ago. 7 years. What is the thing here with these guys? Like, how come when Ultimate Warrior came in, how come when, Honky Tonk Man came in, they knew that these guys were stars right away? You didn't have to wait 5, 6, 7 years to watch these guys finally get their big spot. Like, they started pushing this guy, then they brought him down, then they pushed him again, they put him in a tag team, then they put him in another tag team. Now all of a sudden, we're going to sacrifice Daniel Bryan to Cesaro? Okay, guys, let's come back down to earth here for a minute about Cesaro. This guy's ship sailed back in 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017. You name it. Now all of a sudden we're supposed to care about Cesaro? Good luck with that. Good luck with anyone, accepting Cesaro as a big-time player. Good luck with Cesaro here. Getting him pushed. Just like with Nakamura, you told us not to care about these guys. You told us never mind about these guys. And in a lot of ways, rightfully so. Look, I'm not saying that Cesaro doesn't have incredible strength. Things he's done, picking up Big Show, the giant swing and all that. Great. Fantastic. But let's be honest here. Is Cesaro, when you look at Cesaro, do you really see world champion? Do you really see, WrestleMania headliner? Do you really see this guy in movies? Guys, let's be honest with ourselves. I see a mid-carder here. I see a good wrestler. I see a guy that deserves to be on the roster. But just like Cody Rhodes, this is not a main eventer. This is not a guy that deserves the world handed to him. And I don't care if Drew McIntyre goes on Stone Cold's show and sings his praises and Stone Cold agrees with him. Hell, you could ask Vince Russo. Stone Cold's had some ideas that just didn't work. So, and Stone Cold has also praised a lot of things that haven't worked in wrestling. And said he liked guys and they didn't end up becoming anything special. And it wasn't the creative, it was pretty much that the crowd decided that these guys are just not the stars they're looking for. So, but, everyone will still insist on it year after year. Oh, why is Cesaro not getting pushed? Look, Cesaro is not that great. They've given the guy the platform to shine a number of times. He's just, guys, he's not bad. I'm not knocking the guy and saying he's terrible or anything, or he's a bad wrestler, or bad star. He's just not as good as a lot of people think that he is. He's just not the best. He's better than Keith Lee, but he's not this great savior that's just hidden from sight that, oh my God, this guy's been ignored for so long. Guys, you've done that with everybody. Talking to the diehards out there, you've done that with every single star on the roster. Oh, this guy, because he's from the indies, everyone thinks he deserves the world. And they're going to sacrifice him to Daniel Bryan, who's actually gotten genuine crowd reactions, who's actually sold merchandise. That's actually got eyes on the product. How many people in the sports world doing the yes chants? I'm just saying that there's more potential in Bryan. I think you're if you have to choose, put your stock in Bryan than put it in Cesaro. Now, even being a Daniel Bryan fan, I'll admit that Daniel Bryan was nowhere close to setting the wrestling world on fire. But I think he has proven that he has gotten to WWE more attention than Cesaro. I'm just saying, I think he's also got a personality. He's more likable. I'm just saying, just on camera, Bryan comes off as more of a star than Cesaro does, and he's a smaller guy and everything, and he still does. My opinion and everything. Sasha Banks is backstage. She wants a match with Reginald. I don't care. Does anyone care? Does anyone care about the concierge, or whatever his name is, whatever his title is? Apollo Crews defeated Sami Zayn. Big E is on a couch, sitting there in Ghostbuster pajamas for some reason. I don't get it. I don't know. Apollo Crews, this guy, I don't like the way how he does his matches. Moonsault off a table, which that would have probably meant something at some time. Like, had that been done at a pay-per-view, we'd be like, oh wow, cool, now we just watch it go, yay. Then he goes in there and he does another moonsault. And then you have Apollo Crews coming in, and he gets a roll-up victory. Another roll-up. Anyway, there's a little argument. Crews touches the belt. He touches the belt, guys. Wow. Controversy. Apollo Crews, was this what Roman Reigns was talking about? Go in there and have a competitive match with Sami Zayn, then touch Big E's belt. Then we have a contract signing at the end, and Reigns signs the contract. Then you have Adam Pearce take the contract up to the entryway, and his mic starts cutting off. It also doesn't help that he's speaking in the lowest speaking voice possible. Why is everyone talking low on the show? I get it's part of Reigns' character, but could maybe Adam Pearce project a little bit here? He already knows the audio sucks. Is anyone watching the show back and realizing, seriously, is anyone realizing how bad it is? Because here they started having mic problems. He started cutting off. And so basically what it was is he then signs Kevin Owens into the match. He somehow managed to do that. I don't know, what this was all about. They added all these things onto the contract, and that if Adam Pearce could sign into it, he said something like his knee was bothering him. So I think it was supposed to be that there was a clause in the contract. It was so low and broken up, I couldn't even understand what the guy was saying, to be quite honest. So it was something to that effect that, there was a clause that if he was unable to compete, and so he's faking it, and he does the worst possible sarcastic acting job possible, and Kevin Owens is in the match, and then the show ends in the most anticlimactic way possible. So there you go, guys. You thought maybe you were going to get one of those, authority figure versus Roman Reigns back. Okay, they didn't build up to it, but maybe they would have did something fun in there with maybe a few run-ins and stuff like that, but nope, you're just going to get a last man standing with Kevin Owens. And I get it, it's a different stipulation and all that, but holy hell, seriously, is anyone interested in seeing another Kevin Owens Roman Reigns match? This is what we're getting right now out of the tribal. This character, I'm just saying, there's so much potential in the tribal chief character. And I like it, and I think what Roman Reigns has been given to do with it, he's trying his absolute damnedest to make it work. But they are giving him nothing. They're doing nothing with it. They're repeating the same thing. Endless matches against Kevin Owens. These endless segments with them bullying and making Adam Pearce look like a complete wimp. And it goes nowhere. Please end it after the Rumble. We know that Owens is going to lose here, so please just beat him and get it over with. Have him lose in emphatic fashion so there's no excuse or little reason why they could, book another match. Just end this terrible nightmare already. Dear Lord. I mean, this is just fucking awful. I mean, I'll just be quite honest. I'd rather have watched Legends Night because at least there was like less audio problems, and at least it was a little bit more fun to make fun of that show in the review. This just really just sucked all around. It was just total garbo. God, I mean, and the other thing is that the audio was so bad. Like, this is your last thing for the main event, and then you don't even bother to scramble to fix the audio. This has been going on for weeks and weeks, and it actually got worse, not better. How is that even humanly possible? Anyway, guys, absolutely torturous to watch. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Click the bell so you get all notifications when I post all my new videos. I want to thank all my patrons for your continued support, and thanks again, guys. I'll see you next time.